Dr. Mo, one of the. My name is Dr. Mo, one of the conveners for this Free Nigeria movement that we are on. It is imperative to engage in peaceful protests as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Looking at what has happened, I know that many will say that will protests be the best way to go about what we're doing and to ensure that we have our requests and our demand granted. This is probably the only tool to be able to pour out our energy, our cry, and speak our demands to both people who are going through a lot of pains right now due to loss of family ones and the loss of credibility, the loss of trust, and the failure of people who are supposed to uphold the dignity of our institutions as a country. Speaking particularly to INEC, you can see what has happened. To keep silent, to stay in our houses and in our homes, to mourn and to cry, is to tell the world that we are in support of all the inhumane things that have happened during the course of this election. Is to say that we have accepted the fraudulent and the fake and scammed result brazenly that was collated right before the world to see. More than our local press and media, we have seen countless international media who have gone through the process and have observed this 2023 election, have reported this is the worst that can happen in the history of our country. Side by side, this is the only time unprecedented where young people, first-time voters, have come out in their millions. This is the only and the best way to show the world and to tell the world and to show people and to demand. Otherwise, it will not be enshrined in our constitution. And this is why we're here, to carry out a first phase all over the world. This is what is done. And that is why we're embarking on this. Not limiting all the other, routes that are taken. But this, as seen when George Floyd, a black man, was killed in the US, the whole world came out. And you can go through history and see. And I know that even with the protests that happened in the past, we have seen its effect. And yes, for many, and I can say it, even with the NSAS protests, we saw some of the demands being met. But this is even much more. This is to watch, not to come out, not to do this, is to say that we have no country anymore. What do we say to the terrorists? What do we say to those who are kidnapping? What do we say to criminals if we accept the 2023 general election?
Sir, in your speech, you made two powerful demands, calling for the removal of INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood, and then interim government to be in place. Please, can you make emphasis on that?
Because you see, whatever goes beyond, right now, INEC is the umpire. And what we have right now is a sham and a charade, a complete, President Muhammadu Buhari, with all the pain and all the things we have gone through, and I say it because to stay in context, that he's still the president of Nigeria. But once elections are conducted, his timeline of limit is already impeded. And not to bring a shaft or a break in the timeline before May 29th or June, whatever the date that is there for him to exit. It is important, and that's why we speak about the committee, the trust committee, to begin to help in the process of healing, and also to bring in an interim, committee that will help. Because if you look at it again, until that is done, we will not have credible people upon whose leadership will have an INEC chairman that will conduct a free and fair election that will lead, to the rightful leadership that we have in our country. And so that's what we're asking for, because anything that happens within this short time is either to ask for President Muhammadu Buhari to continue. And I know he doesn't want to continue. And that's why we're making that demand.
Would you, for instance, if consulted by the government, since you have used a very peaceful means to make your grievances known about the elections and its conduct, would you go into consultation or probably dialogue with the government if you are called upon by either INEC or other parastatals, rather, other outfits of the government?
Our demands are there. Negotiations are part. But it's not going to be business as usual. The same way we are addressing people here, it's going to be an open. When the coalition was fraudly done, the reason why we saw it was because it was in an open place.
That's right.
I would demand for an open consultation for them to meet up the demand. This is what it's going to be. There's not going to be anything in any closed door or any. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Thank you.